not have gotten scared. So this is our first time driving in rain, guys. Tow it. It's a real good one. Our original plan was to go back to Forest Lake in North Carolina, but we weren't feeling it, you know? Like, I don't know what, we can't pinpoint what it was about Forest Lake, but we just weren't feeling it. So we didn't want to go back there. So we canceled that, and we made a reservation for a place in Windsor, North Carolina called Cashie River.
So we drove through the worst driving weather we've ever been through, but fortunately everybody in North Carolina are incredibly cautious, so everyone put their flashers on. So it was actually one of the most peaceful drives we've ever had because we couldn't go fast. It worked out, but then we got to Cashie River and it had stopped raining by then. So
Cashie River, I found it on CampSpot. It was a really neat site. They have tree houses that you can also rent to stay in, which were like just kind of built up in the river or the swamp area. But we stayed in the RV park. There was a really nice little deck and things that you could walk out on, so we enjoyed taking some walks there, and it was so quiet. It wasn't really, you know, in the middle of a city, but the main reason we did it
was to go to the Outer Banks. We watch a lot of YouTube videos of other people who travel, and everyone raves about the Outer Banks. So it just didn't feel right to be that close and then go back into North Carolina instead of going the other way. Boy, are we glad we did. It was awesome.
Now, we do plan to do some more in-depth reviews of the campgrounds that we visit. So we'll tell you guys more about Forest Lake, and we also want to show you and tell you more about Cashie River. So when we post those, we'll let you guys know. So this is a good time to remind you to subscribe and hit the notification bell, because then you will get notifications of all of the videos that we do post.
And like them.
And leave a comment. We love comments.
Especially if they're nice. If they're mean, we still like reading them, but the nice ones make us feel better.
While we were at Cashie River, I looked through all of our reciprocal memberships that we have, which we've told you guys about before. We'll link that up here. But every time we go to a new location, I check all of our reciprocal memberships and see if there are any free or cheap places for us to visit while we're there. One of the places I found was this Port Discover little children's museum, and they had a homeschool program going on at the time that we would be there. So the kids got to go and make an edible cell and learn about cells. They really enjoyed it. And it was a small museum, but they had it packed full of stuff. Like, it had all of Theo's favorite stuff. So we spent about an hour, hour and a half there, and we had an amazing time.
Another thing we did at Cashie River in the town that was right there, they have a free zoo called, zoo. If you like chickens and goats, maybe you've never seen a goat, then it is a zoo. Otherwise, it's just a farm. Ducks. More goats. Chickens. Chickens on a fence. Cows and llamas. Zebras. Weird little girls in the street. Weird little boys in the street. Kids liked it.
And the buffalo.
And a buffalo.
Some mini donkeys, mini horses.
Yes. So it was alright. But they had a nature walk that was pretty cool.
Yeah. It was gorgeous. I guess because it's spring, you know, a lot of the flowers were starting to bloom and stuff. It's nothing special, but you're right there. It's like literally like a 5-minute drive. And it was just a nice thing to do one afternoon after, you know, Clint got done with work, for him to, you know, let's jump in the truck and go and see. Yeah. And there's no check-in or paying. It's just, you just walk through it, and it's pretty cool. You get to see some goats trouncing through the woods, but Theo really, it was just the playground. Yeah. They have like 5 playgrounds in this one spot. I'm not sure why that is, but so they really enjoyed that. It was pretty fun and free, so we like that. Then on the weekend, we made the drive across, is it the ocean? What is it? I don't know. We drove across the bridges over to the Outer Banks, and it was as awesome as everybody says it is. The weather was not exactly in our favor. No storming or anything. It did rain later, but it was so windy. So we drove in, and we decided that we were going to go north to like the Corolla area, because we wanted to try to get at least close to the wild horses, and we'll tell you about that. So not long after we got to the Outer Banks, we were right by the Bodie Island Lighthouse. So we just decided to stop. We've not actually seen any of the lighthouses. So we stopped, we took a peek at that one. Lots of wind.
The windiest place I've ever been, other than on the coast in a hurricane. So after the lighthouse, we went back up north to Cashie Ridge State Park, which is supposed to be huge sand dunes, which they were, very big, but it was crazy.
And I didn't even think
windy.
we saw all of the sand dunes.
Honestly, there was so much sand, I was never sure if we were on one of them or not, but there were some pretty high climbs, so I think we were on them, but I mean, as soon as you went over a ridge, it was instant exfoliation of your skin from the sand.
And dry balls.
So it was hard to tell what was happening. Plus, I almost thought we were going to get lost, but...
Here is the trail. The kids say this is a shortcut. Should we believe them? We're just being adventurous. It's so windy. I'm not sure that the sand dunes are a good idea.
It's a little too windy. Theo doesn't quite know how to close his eyes and shut his mouth, so when the wind blows, it's a problem. It is beautiful. I think if it was not so windy, it would be even better. So like the sand dunes are right over there. But as soon as you get over that hill where there's no trees like this, that wind's blowing so hard. It gets in your mouth. Wear glasses if you come out here. On your feet? Yeah, I know. So I love this clip because the funny part of it is if you see Sarah's shoes, right where her shoes are, huge amount of stickers. And I know because I had just dug them out of my feet right before she came down. Fortunately, the kids, Harper and Theo in particular, who never want to wear shoes, must have been too light to ever actually get in the stickers because they walked the whole place barefoot, never complained about stickers. Whereas me and Sarah... We got into them a couple of times, yeah.
I got several stickers, and like they stick in, and when you pull them, they apparently just break off in your foot. So I still have a piece in my foot that I can't get out.
She's got a souvenir from the Outer Banks.
Yeah.
You know, on the map it looks so small, but then when you're in it, it looks like the sand goes on forever.
Yeah, it was really neat. It was kind of like you were like in the middle of one of those videos where like they're going over the dunes, and they just, you know, they look out. And anyways. After we were all sanded up and we tried our best to, you know, clean it off with towels. So the trick that I found was you take the towel and like you put it on your neck or your back or, you know, whatever on the kids, and you just like do like this, like you would like your back getting out of the shower. It kind of helped, you know. We're used to sand at the beach. Like you go and you're wet and you're sticky, you know, from the salt water and stuff. And the sand is like impossible to get off. This stuff came off pretty easy. I mean, it was really fine. I mean, we had it everywhere. It was in our ears, it was in our eyes, it was everywhere. As you can see from Lucas's shoe, right? But it came off relatively easy. So one of the things that we always do anytime we travel to a new city is I try to find dairy-free options for Harper. Now, I know we've mentioned it a little bit here and there, but Harper has allergies. She is allergic to dairy, she's allergic to eggs, and she's allergic to avocados. Now, we have figured out in the last year or two that she can have some of those things in certain, you know, certain preparations and things like that, and I won't go all into that. But it's important to us that she gets to have little treats and things when we're out. So every time that we go somewhere, I use a website, and I'll link it in the description for you guys. But it's called Go Dairy Free, and then they have like she has a running list for every state, and then it's got the cities in it. So when we were in the Outer Banks, you know, I went and I looked for the cities that we were in as we were passing through them. And we found this neat little place called Surfing Spoon, which had dairy-free and vegan ice cream options. So we got to go, and we got to have ice cream, and it was amazing.
Very good ice cream. Not even for, like, dairy-free good. Like, good regardless.
No,
Forget the dairy. It was great.
Yeah, it had several options that she could have. And so you guys will notice as we're traveling, and you probably have already noticed, that we're going to mention when we go somewhere and they have options that Harper can have, good options especially, I'm going to point it out to you guys because I would love to be able to find that, in other people that are traveling. So we're just going to mention it, here and there. So you'll notice that.
I love the Outer Banks. Harper?
Awesome, the best.
Lucas said that this place is the best ice cream he's ever eaten. So, put that on your list.
One of the things that we really wanted to do was one of the wild horse excursions. Like apparently you can ride in a Hummer or a Jeep or something and go out and see the wild horses there. But I read the reviews and apparently this wasn't the time of year to do it. Like people said that you probably really wouldn't be able to see horses. So we were like, I don't know, maybe we'll just, not do that. So then we decided, hey, what we're going to do is we're going to go in our truck on the 4-wheel drive beach, and then if we don't see any horses, fine, but it's cool because you're getting to go in your own truck, right?
We actually went to air down the tires twice.
Clint is letting air out of the tires for us to go on the 4-wheel drive beach. How do you feel about this, Clint? We're nervous.
So, what you're seeing, that's the second time we decided, let's give it a try. And that time, we were a lot more confident. Until we saw the amount of air. When you're filling a tire up, it's right up. When you're airing it out, it feels like we were airing them out for hours. And I just got panicked. And then Sarah was like, I don't know.
So, we may or may not have gotten scared. Look at that hairdo.
Well, it's good, on it. Look at this. This is natural.
Yeah. We saw so many people coming off of the 4-wheel drive beach. Probably would have been fine. But, this is our vehicle that does everything. This brings us places that we need to go. This brings us places that we want to go. And this hauls our home. So, I don't know. Sometimes we're just a little more cautious. That's probably not a bad thing. But it really stinks because we didn't get to drive on the beach and it would have been such a cool experience.
Yeah.
Maybe one day.
But one of the reasons why we didn't is the next day was a travel day. So we can't get stuck in the sand and then not be able to leave.
But finally, we decided, hey, you know what? We're not comfortable, so let's just not do it. And we went to the beach and the kids loved it. It was so windy.